One, nobody can trust him. Because when you pick a running mate, you misuse him to get you numbers. When you accept the presidency, you get rid of him. For him now to get a running mate, there are many questions. Many people ask this guy, if Rigathi helped him to be president, mobilize the numbers, the minute he became president, kicked him out, can I trust him? He has serious trust deficit.
Yes.
Serious trust deficit. So he has to look around. And that is why, as we speak, he has promised the running mate position to more than 7 people. He has promised to Governor Wanga of Homa Bay.
Yeah.
He has promised Oburu Odinga. He has promised John Badi. He has promised to retain Kindiki. He has promised Anwar Uhuru. He has promised another fellow called GK Kariuki, the MP for Dia. He's promising everybody as he's looking for numbers. And actually, I can tell you from where I see it, he is lost. He doesn't know what to do.
But somebody
because these numbers are not easy. For you to be running mate to somebody, you must bring serious numbers. That is how he became running mate to President Uhuru Kenyatta. He had serious numbers, over 2.5 million votes.
Yes.
Then you can be a serious contender to be running mate. So he is having a difficult time because in Nyanza the numbers are not adding up. Probably he had hoped he could inherit what Raila Odinga had. But you know, those ODM people were not ODM followers. They were followers of Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga is gone, and may God rest his soul, rest in peace. But loyalty is not transferable. I can tell you very, very candidly, you cannot transfer loyalty. The loyalty of the Luo nation to Raila Odinga cannot be transferred to Oburu Odinga, and for him to transfer to William Ruto. That even will be a third transfer. It's very difficult. The people of Raila Odinga to be transferred to Oburu, and Oburu to transfer to William Ruto. It's a tall order.
Yeah.
Very tall order. Raila Odinga had other followers in Coast region, in Western region. All that now is up in smoke. So he's having a serious challenge on getting a serious running mate.
Yes.
And I can tell you from where I sit as a political scientist, the peak of running mate for William Ruto will be Waterloo. Whatever if he does, he's dumped. If he doesn't, he's dumped.
Yes.
If he drops Kindiki, he has a problem with the little support that was remaining in the mountain. If he gives him and denies the Luo nation, they are gone. If he doesn't give Musalia, they are gone. It's a difficult thing. In fact, he is in the situation Moi was in 1997. Moi dropped George Saitoti as vice president. He did not reappoint him, and he took time to look for somebody. And everybody was demanding the position.
Yes.
And he realized if he gives it to this person, he loses his block. If he gives this person, he loses. Eventually, he gave it back to Saitoti. Yeah. So William Ruto, I wish him well. But he'll know that getting a running mate who can mobilize serious numbers to help you to become president, it's not a walk in the park. It's not a walk in the park.
But do you have people in mind, though? Not telling us, but you have people in mind that you're thinking.
Oh, yeah. I have several options.
People, right?
I have several options.
Okay.
All informed in compatibility.
Yeah.
Somebody I think we can work with.
Yes.
Number 2, the numbers he or she can bring to my bid for me to be successful, because for me to be president, I need 50 plus 1. I have quite a substantial following, but I need to top it up. And for me to top it up, I need a very serious running mate with serious numbers. And those are considerations that we are making as we move on, as we go on. Yeah, it's not easy to pick a running mate. If you are very serious contender and if you want to be president, you must pick right. Yeah. So
in a hindsight, what would you have done differently when you are in that government or in the sitting government right now, not to be kicked out? What would you have done differently? Is there a time you sat down?
Well, there's nothing. I did not make any mistake myself. William Ruto did not intend to be with me for long. He had planned to kick me out even before we got elected.
So he just
So my fate was sealed.
Okay.
It was just a question of time.
Okay.
He didn't want a strong person.
Okay.
He didn't want somebody who has principles. He didn't want somebody who is not a thief.
Yes.
He didn't want somebody who is not corrupt. I am not corrupt, I'm not a thief. And for that reason, it was very difficult for me and him to work together because he wanted us to loot the country. He wanted us to mismanage public resources. He wanted us to enrich ourselves from public resources, and I was not comfortable.
Yes.
So there is nothing I would have done differently for me to survive.
Yes.
The only thing, probably in hindsight, had I made a coalition agreement with William Ruto with my own political party, we'll still be together. And probably this country will be doing well because I'll be telling him no. And there's nothing he can do. He was able to kick me out because I didn't have my political party.
At that time?
At that time, we were in the same party.
Yes.
So my members would have supported me were also his members. That is a lesson that I have learned. I'll never repeat that mistake.
Yes.
My base where I come from, we shall never repeat that mistake. We have made a decision.
Yes.
Not just for this election, but for posterity.
Yes.
This is a story we'll be telling our children and their children and their children.
Yes.
That for you to be well cushioned politically in any coalition, you must go to coalition with your political party. If I had my political party and I had made a coalition with William Ruto, we will still be together.
Yes.
We will be fighting, but I will be in government, and probably the country will be well functioning because with members, I'll be able to check him. I would have stopped him from doing a lot of things he was doing. He compromised Raila Odinga to be able to do things without any question. Then I started the questioning from inside. So he kicked me out to do all the things he wanted to do without a question. So if I had a political party, I had my own members of parliament and senate, he would not have been able to kick me out. And the country actually would be more stable and things will not be as bad as they are because I will be providing oversight from within government. And that is actually what the framers of the 2010 Constitution envisaged. A strong deputy president elected by the people to check the president from inside, from within government. And you see what has happened now is that he removed an elected deputy president who can ask questions, who can start farm and put an employee, his own employee whom he has picked. He is not elected by anybody. Yeah. So he will do what he tells him because in any case he's one who has given him the job. Yeah, that is why it's against the 2010 Constitution. The framers had intended a deputy president to be elected by the people so that in case the president became wrong, in case the president became excessive, a reasonable deputy elected by the people would have some leverage, some local standard to say, no, we can't go this direction. That's what I had started doing when I was within government. Yeah. And then he couldn't agree that I apply some oversight role from within government. Yeah.
There are so many questions here. But somebody is just also concerned. A lot of people here, like you rightfully said, are on your side. But they say President Ruto didn't see this coming. He didn't see you having a party. Just thought kicking you out, you're going to the village to be a farmer.
Oh yes. In fact, there are some young boys around him who gives him advice. I had told him to be sitting with elders. Because elders, by virtue of age, experience, exposure, know quite a bit. And elders in any society are useful because they'll give you wise counsel. And most of these elders are rich people. They are people who have seen it all and they are not sycophantic. And therefore they can give very good advice. The President Mwai Kibaki was very successful because he had a few elders whom he trusted. The late Jenga Karume, the late John Michuki, Francis Mudaura, Joe Wajui. People who are wealthy, people who want nothing from him. They just want the country to succeed. And they will tell him as it is, as what people are saying. So I did ask President William Ruto, please, I can see some young boys around you. Little boys. Some are not even married. They don't even have a family. They are the ones who advise him. And I could see the country is headed in the wrong direction. And we started losing support. We had come in with a lot of support. There was euphoria when we were elected. Everybody was for William Ruto and Rigathi. And then I told him we are losing support. One, over taxation.
Yes.
You know, programs that are like the housing program, people don't want it. People are saying it's not the work of government to build houses. The work of government is to provide services, roads, water, electricity, sewage, security, and a good environment to do business. But housing is a personal choice. Leave it to the private sector. Mwai Kibaki never did housing program, but he did a lot of housing indirectly. He opened up the bypasses, put tarmac, electricity, water, and the houses came up on their own.
Yes.
You let the private sector thrive on its own. So I started telling William Ruto, you know, I am talking to the people and we are losing it. My brother, please, let's not force things on the people of Kenya. He said, no, you don't know, you don't have to do what is right, what is popular, you do what is right. I said, I agree with you, you do what is right. But if the majority of the people who gave us this job decides it's not right, you cannot insist it is right. If they are saying it's not right, the people, you are employers,
Because they put
the people who give you the job, if they are saying what you are saying is right, they are telling you no, we don't want it. So I had asked him, you know, let's get some elders, let's get professionals, let's talk to people, let's listen to the people of Kenya. He could hear none of it. So these same boys are the ones who told him, you've removed this guy, within 2 weeks he'll be forgotten. He'll go back to Amunyoro. He'll be crestfallen.
Yes.
He'll be traumatized.
Depressed.
He'll be depressed.
Because they took
this
your
guy,
security
nobody,
out.
yeah, without security, without choppers, without cars, without a salary, without anything. This guy, 2 weeks he'll be forgotten. Just give the job to another fellow from the mountain. And the mountain people are not interested in people. They are interested in positions. He is only popular because of the position that he has. And he was persuaded. So they got rid of me. But, you know...
well, somebody's...
so what has happened today?
yeah, somebody's saying the impeachment was unlawful, but we're not going to talk about that. So now that you have a party, we've seen hands exchanging. This is a history repeating itself in regards of handshake, handshake, handshake. We've seen it so many times with government. So now that you have your own party, for peace sake and unity sake in Kenya, right, for us to have one Kenya and one government, are you willing, if President Ruto was to call you today, are you willing to sit down and have a dialogue of handshake and peace for the country?
No, that handshake nonsense is responsible for the erosion of our democracy. Good democracy needs government and opposition.
Yes.
Because absolute power corrupts. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. The hole we are in as a country is because the president has gone wrong. He's become a dictator. And because there's nobody to ask him any question.
We don't have a strong...
yeah, because there's no opposition.
Party. Yeah.
The National Assembly we have today at the Moses Wetangula is worse than the National Assembly we had during the one-party era.
Yes.
And the single party at the Kanu. We had a very bad parliament. But this one at the Moses Wetangula is terrible. Wetangula, the Speaker of National Assembly, behaves like a youth wing of UDA. You can see him in Harambee talking about UDA and two-term. Yet he is supposed to be an arbiter, an umpire in the National Assembly. He's not supposed to have an opinion.
Yes.
He's supposed to wait for the legislators to come there, and then he can moderate the debate and allow the people to make a decision.
Yes.
But himself, he is propagating the same matters that come in parliament in public rallies. So, by neutralizing ODM, by making sure that he got rid of his deputy who was level-headed and who loved his country and who was patriotic enough not to agree to things that are wrong, he has a few days to do whatever he wants. So asking me to have a handshake with William Ruto will just even make him worse. You see, right now we are checking him, and he's not liking it. To tell you the truth, we are giving him better opposition than Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga was a good opposition leader, but to be truthful, he didn't have the energy we have. In terms of being agile, in terms of articulating issues, we have a more serious opposition than we had during the time of Raila Odinga. which is good for the country. So today, if I agree to have a handshake with William Ruto, I will just be giving him a blank check to continue with the excesses, abductions, extrajudicial killing, sale of public assets, theft of public funds, destruction of institutional governance. Parliament is no longer an independent institution. It has been captured. The Senate has been captured. The governors cannot speak. Nobody can speak. So we are the only remaining voice. So we will be very unfair to the people of Kenya. I don't think the people of Kenya would ever forgive me. If today I went and shook hands with William Ruto in exchange either of money or positions or privilege.
Because it can never
maybe I can go and say, oh, we'll give you security, or we'll give you cars, or we'll give you some money, or we'll give you 3 ministers and all that nonsense. I'm not interested. We have a job to do. We have to keep him in check, so that this country can stand. And we have even a bigger duty, a more serious responsibility to work very hard to have change of government next year through constitutional means, as we don't want to remove William Ruto unconstitutionally. I heard Mukomen saying that I'm inciting people by saying they need to deal with traitors. For the record, Mukomen must know anybody who betrays voters is a traitor.
By default.
A traitor is a traitor, and traitors must be called out. And I am on record saying all traitors must be punished, but on the ballot. I'm not telling anybody to beat them. I'm not telling anybody. I'm not telling anybody to beat them. I'm not telling anybody to do. No. I'm even saying, when we had a funeral in Olokalao, and William Ruto was there, and the people are very hostile to him. I said, no. Let this guy speak. We have a problem with him. But the Constitution has given us an opportunity next year to get rid of him. Let's wait for that opportunity. For now, he is president. Allow him to speak. Even these members of parliament who support him, they have betrayed the Kenyan people. They are traitors. We must deal with them. And that is why I use figurative language. I have heard some people trying to twist it. Kuua nyoka na mayai. That is figurative language. I'm a student of literature. And the power of figurative speech in terms of communication is very powerful. Kuua nyoka means getting rid of William Ruto on the ballot.
On the ballot.
With the eggs are all the people who support him. We cannot get rid of him and leave the fellows who support him around, because they have betrayed the Kenyan people, and they can betray the people of Kenya again.
But the ballots thing, to Kokadi, right? I feel like because we don't have a civil education in terms of voting right, who am I voting for? It's all about greed, it's all about money, it's all about what we are getting. Because if I'm hungry and somebody puts food on my table, I'll take it. But if there's civil education, yes, take the money. And I'm for Kenyans. Anybody who wants to take the money, take it. But when you're going to vote, you're by yourself. Nobody knows who you're voting for. So vote right. But if we have civil education, don't you think this will now help us to vote well and to also take that voting card?
My sister, the IBC is supposed to do a lot of civic education, and they are not doing it. The civil society used to be very vibrant in Kenya. That is no longer the case. But have comfort. These public rallies we do every week, is civic education. We are educating the people of Kenya, and they are getting it. We had some nominations in a place called Olokalao, where there's by-elections. And the UDA party of William Ruto was having nominations on Friday. The DCP, my party, had nominations on Saturday. So UDA people were giving people money, including DC people, to go and vote for the aspirants for UDA. And the people of Olokalao said, no, we love money, yes. We need money, yes. We have a lot of problems we can do with some money. But this one we don't want, because we don't belong to UDA. We don't like UDA. We belong to DCP. The president had released 40 million Kenya shillings to mobilize 40,000 residents of Olokalao at a cost of 1,000 per person. So they were supposed to get 40,000 people turning up for their nomination. They got 3,000. And because they were using electronic gadgets, they escalated the figures to 8,000. But the ones who turned up are 3,000. Assuming they even turned up 8,000, let's give them the benefit of doubt. 32,000 residents of Olkalau say no, we don't want money. That is very huge victory for our democracy.
Yes.
It means people are very enlightened. And people, no matter how much they are struggling, can say, no, we are not going to sell our birthright.
Yes.
We are not going to sell our democratic right. So 32,000 people being enticed with 1,000 shillings that they need because they have no food,
yes,
said no. Only 8,000 succumbed to that what do you call it, inducement, you know. So our democracy is coming of age, and I can tell you between now and next year in March, we shall be all over the country. And in these public rallies we do, they are part of the civic education, is telling people, you people cannot accept money, yeah, and elect dictators. You cannot take money and elect people who will destroy the health system. Then when you go to hospital, there are no drugs, and the money that you are given is not sufficient to buy your drugs for 5 years. You cannot take 2,000 shillings, elect the wrong people, then for 5 years your children cannot go to school. And I think Kenyans are getting it. Because I've even seen in many places where they have been given money, after the president has left, they shout one time, which means they are just taking the money, but their heart is well protected. Their conscience is clear that even if they are taking money, that money will not corrupt them to do the wrong thing. They will still take the money and do the right thing. And I think I'm very encouraged by what is happening across the country, and more so what happened in Olkalau. And I'm sure during the by-election on July 16th, that will be more pronounced. There will be a lot of money, but people will do the right thing, I can assure you.
Okay. So my next, I'll ask, is loyalty in African politics, is it real, or is it just temporary alignment of interest?
Well,
because I've heard in different forums that this is what I was promised, this is what was promised of me, but it wasn't delivered. So is it all about the interest of what I was meant to get, or what I'm getting, or is it actually for the people?
Our politics have been very indecent, and we have had a lot of the politics of betrayal and deception, where you promise heaven to the electorate and deliver hell. And that is why there is a very big overturning of leaders. If our leaders are elected, like 70% of members of parliament usually don't come back, because when they were campaigning, they promised heaven, then they deliver hell. People have no loyalty to the voters. Voters are very loyal people. By the time voters vote for you, they didn't trust you. I can tell you, William Ruto was trusted by Kenyans. They believed him. The guy was very persuasive. He was hardworking, he was everywhere. Bottom-up economic transformation, signing economic charters with the people of Kenya. Uhuru Kenyatta tried to say, this guy is not good for the country. Please don't elect him. He will mess this country. Nobody could listen because he had promised heaven to the people of Kenya. And they believed it, they trusted, they were loyal to what he said. But he did not mean, or he was saying he did not intend to do it. And that is why you find the people who supported him most are the ones who have the biggest problem with him, because they were loyal. So they feel more betrayed than even those who did not elect him. In fact, you find those who did not elect him are not having a very big problem with him, because they don't feel deceived. They knew he's not good, so they are saying, we told you. So they are not very angry. But the people he deceived, the people he convinced that he means well, the people he convinced he will transform their lives, and then he has done the exact opposite of what he promised, they are very bitter. And they are looking for revenge on the ballot, of course, you know. So loyalty has been two-way. The voters have been very loyal to their leaders. But I'm afraid we, the leaders, have not been loyal to our supporters. And many of us have let our people down. And I'm trying to be different. And I am praying to God to give me wisdom, to give me a good conscience,
discerning spirit,
to be loyal to my supporters, because they have been very loyal to me. When I was removed from office, they follow me. I go to public meetings. I don't spend a cent. They come in thousands. They trust me. They were told, this guy will lead you nowhere. He is impeached. He cannot be even a village elder. Don't follow him. But they still follow me. They believe in me. I am praying to God to give me the discerning spirit, to have the moral courage, to do the right thing and not betray my supporters who are in millions. I must deliver to them. I must live true to what I have promised them, because they have believed in me. When I have nothing, I don't give them money. I don't give them anything. They just believe in me. I have a responsibility, and a very big one, to honor that promise, to be able to show loyalty to my supporters the way they have been loyal to me.
So would you say, I hear what you're saying, and I really like that, but, you know, we have to see it working.
Yeah.
So, because you're putting God in this mix and saying God to give you the wisdom, the knowledge, the discerning spirit, if you take office and within the 5 years or the 4 years that you're in office, you don't implement everything you've promised us.
Yes.
Just like now people are fighting Ruto, that he has not given us what he promised.
Yes.
Would you be willing, the way we see it in the Western world, they always just step down. We don't have people fighting. They say, we don't want this prime minister. There's no fighting. I just come out. There's no people killing people, come out. So would you be willing to tell Kenyans that if I took power and I don't deliver what I've promised to deliver, I'll step down without fighting?
I'm a good student of history. I studied history in A-level, and I had a B in the A-level exam. When you look at the history of the French Revolution of 1789, you see what is happening today. You cannot betray the people. They will get rid of you. What has happened to William Ruto before my own eyes? I have seen a very popular president, a guy people believed in, make so many promises. He has not delivered. And in the second year, the people are begging for his blood. Today, William Ruto cannot hold a serious meeting without paying people to attend. Even in his own backyard, the Kalenjin land, we had a by-election in a place called Emurua Dikir. He had to pay the Kalenjin voters to vote for a UDA candidate. His home base, people who really believed in him 100%, today he has to pay them. I would be a very bad student of history to go to that path. If I cheat the people of Kenya, the second year, the third year, they'll be begging for my blood. I am already aware. So why would I want to go into that direction?
So you will leave?
I will. How
will you step down?
I will deliver to the people. I will not leave because I will deliver. I will do what I have promised. But because I don't have a choice.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, just for argument's sake, you
I'm
don't
saying,
deliver.
If it comes to that,
down.
If it comes to that, and it cannot come to that because I've told you I'm a good student of history.
Yes, but just if.
There is no way you can do the same thing and expect different results. If you cheat the people of Kenya and you deceive them, you'll work for them, and you don't work for them, they'll get rid of you.
Yes.
So why would I fall into that trap? I can see I have been with William Ruto. We were elected together. We were very popular.
Yeah.
Along the way, we started losing popularity. I started advising because I didn't want to suffer the same fate as him. I told him, boss, we are losing it. Kenyans are saying we are cheating them.
Yes.
We are launching development projects that they are not budgeted for.
Yes.
When we leave, the tractors, the graders, they follow us to Nairobi. And people have started now speaking behind our backs and they are saying we are liars. I told him, I was very, I don't know where I would get such a deputy. A deputy who was telling you, boss, we are getting it wrong. Kenyans are saying this, please, let's change. He would hear none of it. So if I saw that happen to him,
why would you repeat it?
Why would I repeat it? I would be a fool. And I don't think I'm foolish.
Yes.
I'm not very intelligent, neither am I foolish. I'm just somewhere there in the middle. I know something, a few things. I cannot repeat that mistake. I intend to honor my promises to the people of Kenya to the extent possible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now that you've actually mentioned France somewhere, so now I also recently we witnessed the president of France who visited Kenya, and we were made to believe that he came for a focus of peace, security, and economic partnership. But yet, most Kenyans are crying and saying this was just selling Kenya to the highest bidder. What do you think about that visit?
Kenyans are very intelligent people.
They are.
Kenyans were colonized by the British.
Yes.
The West Africa was colonized by the French. And the French were not just colonizing people like Kenya. Theirs was called assimilation. They would even change your culture and language. They would assimilate. Most West African countries speak French, and they go to homage to Paris. The West African countries know France and President Macron more than we do. They have all abandoned him. They want nothing to do with him. He is isolated. France is isolated by the former colonies. They know France more than we do. They are saying, no, these are exploiters. These are corrupt people. They don't mean well for Africa. Go away, we don't need you. Then, to salvage himself from isolation, he has come to East Africa, and specifically Kenya.
And we're not listening.
It's only William Ruto who thinks he is anything. Kenyans know he is not. Let's start by the Rironi Mau Summit Road. During the reign of President Uhuru Kenyatta, the French companies entered an agreement, a contract with the Kenyan government to expand Rironi to Mau Summit to 8 lanes at a cost of 151 billion Kenya shillings. Okay, and when President William Ruto came to power, he didn't want to honor that, and he discussed with President Macron, and they discussed on how to get some money out of the whole thing, cancel the contract, and pay the French companies 7.1 billion shillings without doing anything, by simply cancel the contract and split the money halfway. 3.5 billion for President William Ruto, 3.5 billion for President Macron. We know those things. Then,
how do you know this?
We
Is it because you're in the government?
I've been around. I was deputy president. I have people in government, and I was also a civil servant for a long time. In fact, Kenyans are shocked. Anything I say is true.
You know a lot.
I know, because I am government. I joined government at the age of 22 when I left university. I grew through the system. In every ministry, I know more than half the population at a personal level. 3 names, so and so. So I am a walking